Hi, my name is Donna Schiller. I was diagnosed in October 2001 when I was 50 years old, and at the time it was really scary, and having to go through radiation, go into the building named cancer was very intimidating. And I thought, oh, I had to be in the wrong place. Certainly wasn't where I belonged. And having to deal with telling people at work was difficult, but I found a whole level of love there from people I hadn't expected it from, people I work with all day who were really touchingly concerned for me. And I remember one person who I told who actually cried, and she put her arms around me, and it was really special, and that helped me to get through that, and also helped me to come to the understanding that love is one of the most important things that we have in this world that we can give to one another, and that we should share it more openly. So that's one thing I've learned from it. So I had, the cancer I had was DCIS, which was ductal carcinoma in situ, which is the I guess easiest cancer to deal with. Where it's in the duct, it hasn't spread, so I didn't have to have chemo. I had a lumpectomy and then radiation, which left me pretty wiped out. But I remember going to work, and they were so good about not giving me anything to do hardly. And I remember having one project I just couldn't handle. My brain couldn't wrap around it. It was more than step one and step two. And I just kept putting it aside because I couldn't do it. And after some time, things get better, and you can keep resuming, more and more parts of your normal life that you couldn't think about while you were undergoing treatment. I now go to the gym, I do Nautilus, I do exercise bike, go to work. When I finish with work, I walk around 40 minutes, and things are so much better, and I have a whole appreciation of different things in life. Like, I have a philosophy now that life is a journey, that it's not so important where you are at any moment, but that you're traveling someplace along the way, and that you learn that you learn something from each step of the way. It's actually freed me up to, I have a daughter who's 16, to be less concerned for her and whether she's getting an A or a B or a C in a class, and what college she's going to. I just know that she's going to find her way somehow, and it's not about me showing her, it's about her finding it for herself. And this is my sister Judy, who's 6 years younger, who was diagnosed later. We had the question to confront, was it genetic? There is no other history in the family of breast cancer, but we were two close relatives. They thought they should do the genetic testing, the BRCA analysis, which they did, and it's not we don't have any faulty gene. It's just luck of the draw. And I was happy to have had the test and to get those results, because I have a daughter who was 10 at the time I was diagnosed, and Judy has 2 daughters, and that was able to ease their minds, because my daughter said to me, after I had got breast cancer, well, now I have a risk of breast cancer. Thanks a lot, Mom. And it was only after Judy had it and her surgeon said, I think you two should have it, In fact, because you're close relatives, the insurance company will pay for it, so let's do it. And so I was able to tell my daughter, no, you don't have any increased risk. It's so difficult when you get the diagnosis. There's just all this anxiety, you know, the fear, the what ifs, and to try to get a handle on my fear, I said, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I had to confront, well, I could die. And I said, well, what about that? And if you've been in surgery, they keep the operating rooms cold and they give you the nice warm blankets. I was picturing myself, if this was the worst, I was in a nice bed with a wonderful nurse and those warm blankets, and I was thinking of it as a spa as I left this worldly place for the next world. But that got me, once I confronted that, then I could put that aside and I could focus on today and now and life and, you know, the time that I have here, because none of us know how long we have. So we, you know, you go from day to day and you do what you can that day. And so you go into treatment and, you know, you have a wonderful set of medical staff. I mean, everybody I had was so caring, you know, the radiology technologists, and so supportive and loving. And for anybody who's newly diagnosed, you'll find that the medical personnel who have gone into this, you know, for a reason, they really are well suited for it, and they will really be supportive for you, and you'll just feel like, you know, gee, what a bad thing could happen when I'm surrounded by all this good care. So I think the hardest thing is getting the diagnosis. Then once you get the course of treatment and you start treatment, I think it's a lot easier to accept psychologically, and you know, then you get on the other side of whatever side effects you might experience, and, you know, you just start rebuilding your life. But, you know, there are a lot of things that in the interim you just have to suspend, and don't feel guilty about, you know, eating dinner and then, you know, going to sleep on the couch and letting somebody else in the family clean up, or just let things go. It's okay. You know, you'll get better and plenty of time to do those dishes later on.